I fought harder, tougher, and been injured more, simply to step up on the top of that podium, to have my country flag raised, and to play the national anthem. That meant more to me than winning some belts, winning some money, you know, because it's, that's you know, the pride that I took in doing something like that. So wrestlers have always been the toughest, and as I said earlier, the fact that wrestling is getting its recognition. You hear, as I said before, Joe Rogan say time and time again, wrestling is a must if you want to be successful in the world of mixed martial arts today. And 9 out of top 10 guys per weight class, they are all wrestlers. Yes.
When were you like in wrestling?
In the wrestling world, I started in 1992. I used my real name. I used my real amateur wrestling credentials. I only trained for probably just a few months before a gentleman out of Nashville, Tennessee asked me, he said, "Is that stuff legit?" I said it was, and they said, "You ought to be over in Japan doing this thing called shoot fighting or shoot wrestling." I'd never heard of it before. Gave him a business card, gave him an athletic resume. 3 days later, I get a phone call. 10 days later, I'm down in Nashville, Tennessee for a trial. 30 days later, I'm in Tokyo, Japan, in front of 12,000 people. Did not have a clue as to what I was doing. All I know is my Asian opponent kicked me half a dozen times really, really hard. I didn't like being kicked really, really hard. I grabbed him and I dismantled him by flinging him all over the place, much to the crowd's delight. And the Japanese interpreter says something like, "Dan Saban, you will become a superstar." I don't know about that superstar status. I'm just not going to let someone just tee off on me with all these things. I'll let them pay a price there too for admission. There's a hand over here too. Yes.
Which Olympic series did you wrestle in?
My very first one was in 1976. As a 17-year-old, senior high school, I tried out for the Olympic team. And I made it to the top. I was in the national pool in the top 32. And some names I'll throw out there, don't be names that you guys will know who they are, but some of the coaches will know, the rest of the likes of Ben Peterson. And he was actually the Olympic, he was both the Olympic gold medalist and the Olympic silver medalist. And I lost a 7-5 match to him. So that's how close I was to make an Olympic team. Go with it. I wrestled his brother Ben, John, just less than a year later, and an event. Ben and John was both an Olympic silver medalist and a gold medalist right there. And I ended up pinning John in the first period. So, like I said, I was a strong pinner in my career. I just answered like one or two more, then I want to turn back with coaches.
Any golds?
No, I've never been Olympic. I've never wrestled in the Olympic Games. I've been an alternate on a couple of different occasions, 84 and 88. 80, I was in the top couple at that point in time, but that's when the United States did a boycott. So instead of going through the wrestle-offs, I opted for a 5-country tour. So I just wanted to get more competition because all in 1980 Olympics, you were just going to be recognized, and that was about it. But I was still young enough in my career. I wanted to get more matches, advance my career, so that when the next Olympic Games came around, I might be a little more seasoned and prepared to do something like that. Last question. All right, let me finish. Oh, okay, you can see it.
What was your go-to takedown move?
Go-to takedown move. I think right now what it would be. I mean, I shot a lot, you know, in the process. And it's, I work a lot from the inside tie, but I'm good about what I do a lot of teaching. I'm always teaching that working angles of attack. Because I don't want to stay right in front of that guy, because otherwise I play to his power. But as long as I get up and attack at different angles, that's what I work with a great deal. I was good enough upper body-wise. I threatened a lot of guys with a lot of Greco-Roman type techniques. And very few wrestlers, even still today, are that versed in upper body techniques. So as I would threaten them with upper body techniques, now they backed off and they would shoot. That's what I wanted them to do in the first place. Because once they shoot, I'm going to sprawl. I had a very tenacious head and arm series. Whether it be head and overhook or head and underhook series that I worked. And I worked into the Cradle series, like the original story, the Cradles. Cradles was my signature move all through high school, collegiately. Even in the UFCs, I've thrown cradles on people. Of course, there was a cradle wrapping around this place. Boom! Knee to the head. You'd be surprised with a little mental disruption how easy it is to finish out that cradle afterwards. Guys, let me just finish up. One thing right here. with a poem I wrote. I know it's hard to believe that a guy with the ring name's The Beast writes poetry. And it's nothing quite as eloquent as roses are red, violets are blue, yes, I will pummel you all through and through. It's nothing quite as eloquent as something like that. And just pause 1 second before I jump into the poem. The ring name The Beast I did not come up with. It was a ring name that was given to me by one of the play-by-play commentators at the time, Jim Brown. The legendary football player, Jim Brown. Yes. You know, so he was, I always tell people that he was profiled in the year 2000 as one of the top 100 one of the top 100 athletes in the past millennia. That's 100 years, guys. And he was like in the top 5 guys. So I always looked at, when I first met him, I wore glasses for distance. He says, you're kind of like Clark Kent Superman, how you take your glasses off and go from meek, mild manner to dun, dun, dun. He's like, how do you turn it on like that? And I'm thinking, Jim Brown is asking me a question like this? I got kind of like giddy there when he was saying that. Because I watched him when I was in high school play football. He was in my opinion, was one of the most punishing running backs in the history of football. He didn't run around people, he ran over people. And he retired at such a young age. Had he played for a couple more years, no human being would ever have equaled what he did. So that's where the ring name comes from, but the ring name, The Beast, has a lot of negative connotations. I'm not a negative person, I'm a very positive person. So the word "the" stands for Dan Severn. I'm a teacher, humanitarian, and I'm an educator. And my message to young people is beast. To believe in yourself, to educate yourself, to adjust your everyday attitude, to study hard, and then to teach others. So I took what was a negative and turned it into a positive. And basically it's like, we'll almost always go for full circles, because as I look at the various coaches, they were all wrestlers. Now they're coaches, they're giving back, so it's just going full circle. The poem, The Match, it's called The Match Promise. Don't ask me, as I said, don't ask me why I wrote this. Wrote this about 20 years ago. I happened to be flying back from Tokyo, Japan late one night. Couldn't sleep. And I had a little rhyming type of things going through my mind. I literally pulled out the barf bag and grabbed an ink pen, and within about 10 minutes I had it written. So I always say, I never wrote anything this good. That was mandatory in college. So why I wrote something that it should touch you guys' heart, because this all depicts the sport of amateur wrestling, of what you're all into. So I'll read it to you now. Again, it's entitled The Match Promise. Before I walk onto the mat, I pause a moment to reflect on back. From where I came, it wasn't much, but where I'm headed, I cannot be touched. These words I speak, they are the same. Speak them I must, they're part of my game. I must promise to do my very best, to put my opponent to the ultimate test, to rise above all that he may do. I will see the match all the way through. Win or lose, it is not the score. Knowing I did my best, this means more. I will shoot and defend with all my might to let my opponent know he's in for a fight. Wrestle hard I must, all the way through, no matter what my opponent may do. 1 point at a time, that is what I'll take. Relentless I'll be, no mistakes I'll make. I work too hard to settle for less. In the heat of the battle, I can handle the stress. My muscles may ache from the strain, but with my mind set, I will get through the pain. I may tire and weaken, my body may begin to cramp. I will not stop, I want to be champ. I will push my opponent to the end, trying my best to get the pin. When the whistle blows, the match is done. The ref raises my arm because I have won. I am not average, not like the rest. I will rise above and become the best. It is my goal to reach the top, and no matter what, I will not stop. That, my friends, is the kind of perseverance that wrestlers have got to have. It's not like football, basketball, all that other team sport where you get to let somebody else do it. It's up to you when you step out there, man. I'm going to be around a great deal. It's a chance to watch some of you guys in wrestling action, so I wish you guys best of luck, and I thank Coach for